Hi everybody. So I wanted to just put a little overview of my thoughts around not just this particular module, but this kind of class and how I'm organizing it before I get started. So when I was arranging the syllabus or putting this together, I really didn't want the class to be just an overview of federal Indian law. So meaning like I didn't want it to be just a step-by-step historical contextualization of all of the policies that the United States has made that affect Native people. Not that those things aren't important, and we will touch on them, but I really wanted it to be kind of a more nuanced and complicated examination of how Native people have experienced American politics and have interjected into political protest movements and have utilized American political systems in order to exert their own autonomy, sovereignty, and power. And then, of course, there's a push and pull in terms of rights and what the United States is willing to grant to Native people and what they are willing to grant and then rescind. So that's my kind of background for this course as a whole. And I will just tell you also, I am taking a more thematic approach rather than a chronological approach to this history class, which is a little bit unusual, I guess, for historians. Historians love chronology, timelines. But I think it's actually more helpful to look at things in terms of general themes and kind of continually just circle back and circle back and circle back to different things. Because if you look at the chronology of federal Indian policy, of relationships between the U.S. and Native nations, it's not a continuous line of progress by any means. There's a lot of twists and turns and backtracks and broken promises, and it's just kind of makes more sense to me to approach it thematically. So that's what we're going to do. So today, or this week, week 1, we are starting with this really broad topic of defining political sovereignty. So the kind of subheading to this first module is understanding the relationship of tribal sovereignty to statehood. And we're going to look at 3 specific moments in time where tribes thought of or proposed or tried to establish states within the United States, thinking, we'll talk about why this happened. It happened, for different reasons in these different incidents, but sort of the relationship between statehood and sovereignty. All right. So, I'm really looking forward to hearing what you think about this. So the way I've set up the course, as I've said, and the organizational overview I did is to do, a general historical context kind of blog post with questions I'll ask you that you can weigh in on, and then to do these readings, which I want everybody to annotate and talk about in the margins. So all of this together will give us hopefully a really complex but also thorough picture of the topics week to week. And then we're also engaging with one treaty a week and sort of tracing the impact of that treaty or the legacy of that treaty throughout time. So this week's treaty of the week is 1778 Treaty with the Delaware, which is the first treaty the newly formed United States signs with the Native nation.